Welcome to Cybercrime.
This week, how computers, dedication, and a little luck reunite a father and son.
But first, let's turn to our top story. Blue Nitro, Liquid X, G. These are all street names for the designer drug GHB. It's a man-made chemical once legally sold over the counter in health food stores, now underground, online, and illegal. Before we look at how some dealers are using the web to dodge laws and deal the drug, let's get some background on this controlled substance. I should warn you, this story contains some graphic language and disturbing images.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah. Tony Young is high on gamma hydroxybutyrate, or GHB. His wife shot this video because she wanted to show Tony how the drug affects him. Thanks to GHB, Tony has lost his job, traumatized his family, and is currently in jail.
GHB is a drug that is addicting, that can ruin, that can destroy your life.
Steve asked us not to use his last name. He's also had a problem with GHB. He's been using since 1996.
It just sort of like helped me, like, you know, come out of my shell and not feel nervous and, you know, just like speak my mind.
To Steve, G was a miracle in a bottle, a tranquilizer, a sleep aid, a euphoria-producing party drug. By early 2000, Steve was taking GHB around the clock, buying it on the internet at a cost of about $1,000 a month.
All I had to do was log on and I'd have it the next day. You know, through express mail, it could be at my door the next day.
And when Steve tried to quit?
And the first 12 hours without the G, I started to hallucinate. So it was really scary to see things and didn't know where I was.
After several failed attempts to get off GHB, Steve checked into this detox clinic near his home in New Jersey. He went through 7 days of treatment for withdrawals.
Just right before I went away to detox, I actually, on the car ride there, I took some with me. And I believe as soon as I checked in, that was my last dose.
That's what Steve told us the day after he got back from detox, that he was finally off of GHB. What he didn't know at the time was that his mother, who didn't want to appear on camera, told us a very different story. She says that when he got back from detox, that he scoured the house, found his stash of GHB, took it, and got high. Then she watched her son staggering around the house, unable to speak, and eventually pass out. So, in that same interview, we asked Steve again whether he had taken any GHB in the last 24 hours.
No, I didn't have any. I got rid of it. You know.
Then, with Steve's mother standing just off camera, the real story finally came out.
Why did you tell him that? Yeah. Did you tell him that I did? Yeah, I guess you did.
We asked him why he withheld the truth.
I don't know, because maybe I look like an asshole. I just spent all this money on rehab.
Very characteristic of addiction is that when people are craving their drug, their mind can't remember, can't call to mind the trouble they're in. That's called denial.
Dr. Alex Stahlcup is an addiction specialist and medical director of the New Leaf Treatment Center in Concord, California.
GHB reduces anxiety levels. When people who are physically dependent on it go into withdrawal, they become intensely anxious, feelings of doom, feelings of impending death.
Dr. Stahlcup's GHB patients include bodybuilders who mistakenly thought the drug would help them bulk up, and a group of elderly women who use GHB as an arthritis treatment.
You have to be careful where you look, because you'll find it in a different form with a different reputation, different risk profile, different danger profile, depending upon who's looking at it.
You'd think if you got raped, you'd remember it. Well, you don't. You don't when they drug you.
Patricia White had never heard of GHB when back in July of 1999 she went out to a restaurant with some coworkers. She remembers her boss offering her what she thought was just a drink.
I was like, no, I don't want to drink. He's like, just try this. Here, just take a look. Don't worry about it. And I did.
After that, Patricia's memory gets foggy. She remembers a drive down this highway with her boss and his friends, and being pulled from the car in this parking garage. She then remembers awakening from an unconscious state, naked, in a strange bed, her boss standing over her.
When I screamed, he had told me, he says, I don't know why you're screaming. He says, everybody saw you, everybody did you.
But Patricia didn't remain conscious for long.
He told me I needed more happy juice because I was so upset and because I was crying and because I wasn't cooperating. Then he told me I needed more happy juice.
The next morning, Patricia emerged from this Long Beach, California apartment building. Disoriented and confused, she called the police. Tests showed she had a near-fatal level of GHB in her system.
It produces basically an inability physically to defend yourself. It produces unconsciousness or semi-consciousness with, in many cases, total amnesia for the events.
Patricia's boss, Lorenzo Fial, is now serving an 11-year prison sentence for rape and sodomy by use of a drug. No one knows for sure how he got the GHB.
Rape is an act of violence. It's an act of control. And however it's done, you know, GHB is just one more form for them to use. It's a threat to everybody out there.
Motivated by cases like Patricia White's, in February 2000, then-President Bill Clinton signed the Date Rape Drug Prevention Act into law, and GHB became a Schedule I controlled substance. GHB was now as illegal as heroin. Even so, police tell us reports of GHB use are on the rise. Back to our story about GHB. Thanks to the Date Rape Drug Prevention Act of 2000, possession or sale of the controlled substance GHB is a federal crime. But that hasn't stopped tech-savvy drug dealers from getting product to their customers. Part 2 of our investigation takes a look at how and why G has gone from the street corner to the desktop.
This is a 3-gallon bucket that I ordered over the internet.
Detective Bob Metcher is a special agent with the California Department of Justice Bureau of Narcotic Enforcement. When he received this bucket in March of 2000, it contained the industrial cleaning solvent gamma-butyrolactone, or GBL. The contents of this bucket could be mixed with a common household chemical to make almost 3,000 doses of the illegal drug GHB.
I saw the advertisement on the internet for, shockingly, anywhere from 3 gallons of GBL all the way up to a 55-gallon drum.
Police executed a search warrant on the home of Michael Hall, the man who ran the Inova Products website. Hall maintains the GBL in these containers is just a cleaning agent, but police say Hall's customers were using his product to manufacture GHB. And some of Hall's customers were drinking his product, straight GBL, to get high.
GBL is a GHB analog. What's a GHB analog? Well, GHB analog is a close chemical relative to the drug GHB. In fact, it's so close that when consumed, the human body converts GBL into the drug GHB. So essentially, if you're taking GBL, you're taking GHB.
This commercial chemical supplier legally sells the GHB analog GBL and another GHB analog called 1,4-butanediol. They follow government regulations that help ensure those substances are only sold to legitimate industrial users. But when a GHB analog is sold for human consumption, which is what the police say Michael Hall was doing, the law considers it an illegal drug, just like GHB. So Hall was arrested and charged with the sale and transportation of a controlled substance.
Well, I think some traffickers saw the internet as a way to do an end around, shall I say, around the federal legislation or state laws and sell the analogs and use the excuse that they're actually selling cleaning products.
In fact, we couldn't find any website selling actual GHB to U.S. customers, but we did find many that appear to be selling GHB analogs. We're not going to reveal the names of those sites because we don't want to show people how to buy these dangerous substances. This site basically sells 2 products. Their ink cleaner, which is the GHB analog 1,4-butanediol, and their contact cement cleaner and remover, the GHB analog, GBL.
This site is for the drug user. It's not for the man or woman that's interested in cleaning their inkjet printer.
Steve, the GHB addict you met earlier in our story, says most of the illicit suppliers can't be found simply by typing GHB or GBL into your search engine.
They don't want to make it easy for the average person or for the authorities to find their website. So it's usually word of mouth, through friends.
This site doesn't even list the ingredients of their products. For $48.99, you can get a 2-ounce bottle of cleaning solution. The site ships by second-day courier. This order was sent to a GHB user who told us he regularly drinks this product to get high. We sent the contents to a lab for analysis. Their findings? The bottle contained the GHB analog 1,4-butane-diol. We made several attempts to talk to someone from the website, but they didn't return our phone calls or respond to our emails.
As long as I can buy it over the internet, I will continue to buy it.
Steve knows he needs help to control his addiction. Following our interview, he left for a New York rehab facility where he will spend the next 14 months.
Being by a computer, it's not a good idea. I need to separate myself from the computer.
As for Michael Hall, the man police say was selling a GHB analog by the bucket, he pled guilty and in early September was sentenced to 5 years in prison. You'll find more details and links to information on this deadly drug at cybercrime.com. Still ahead.